Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video, guys. Guys, Andre Ward opens up on the Bivol Canelo fight and gives his take, gives his take of what his thoughts were. Andre Ward said that Canelo Alvarez should have stayed away. And he doubled down on that. He said, Bivol has a wrong style for Canelo, and maybe the style was just all wrong, and that's why he made those comments, because of the fact that Bivol just has, he's bigger, he's longer, he's a good boxer, and his style was gonna give Canelo problems, and Canelo should have probably stayed away. He probably fought the wrong guy. He might be right. Andre Ward might be right. I think Andre Ward makes a very good point. That, I think Bivol's style is very difficult for him. Very, very difficult for him. And even in the rematch, it's going to be very, very difficult for him. I don't, is Canelo going to be able to make the adjustments in order to beat Bivol? I think it's going to be very tough, because you're now fighting a guy that's bigger, that's a very, very good boxer. It's going to be very difficult to do, but I think Canelo would have to throw more combination punches. He'd have to throw more punches in order to outwork Bivol, rather than going in there to knock him out. That's just not going to work. But then Andre Ward started talking about something which I found I didn't really understand what he was kind of pointing at. He basically said that a lot of people are praising Canelo Alvarez for daring to be great, moving up weight class, and saying daring to be great, but we shouldn't give him too much praise. And basically saying, well, when he fought Kovalev, and Kovalev was kind of not at his prime, he beat Kovalev, and everybody was saying how great Canelo is. And at the same time, now he's gone up and fought Bivol, and he's been beat, and now we need to give him a soft place to fall on. And he goes, I don't agree with that. I agree with that point. I agree with what he's saying. I feel like there's too much of this daring to be great stuff. I think with Canelo, I think you've just got to applaud the fact that he's been fighting so many champions, irrespective of what people, and no, there's not many fighters in boxing that do that are fighting so many champions back to back, irrespective of what there's a narrative that being pushed that, oh, he's fighting European fighters that are terrible, this, that. Canelo has got a very impressive resume. But all this stuff about daring to be great, I don't really believe in that. And Andre Ward pointed out in the video, the reporter actually asked Andre Ward, well, Amir Khan got knocked out. He didn't really get the same credit that Canelo got. And Andre Ward said, yeah, he goes, Amir Khan didn't get the same credit that Canelo got for moving up. And Amir Khan obviously was brutally knocked out against Canelo Alvarez. And he said, I don't think it was a smart move for Amir Khan to take the Canelo fight, but he did what he had to do. But then he started going down a different direction and saying there's double standards in boxing. That if Shakur Stevenson moved up weight and he got beat, or Floyd Mayweather moved up weight and got beat, or Terence Crawford got moved up to 154 and got beat, would we be giving these guys a pass the way Canelo's getting a pass? But I don't really see Canelo getting a pass. I actually see Canelo getting ripped apart by a lot of boxing fans. So I don't really know what Andre Ward meant there. Like, I don't want to speculate, because he didn't directly open up. Now, he did say there's double standards. What does he mean by that? Where is he going, by saying that there's double standards? Because the names that he mentioned were essentially black fighters. He mentioned Shakur, Floyd, and he mentioned Terence Crawford. And he said that those guys, would they get a pass if they went up in weight? Well, no, because they're considered the best. Canelo hasn't got a pass. A lot of his own Mexican fans were unimpressed by him and were criticizing him, let alone people that already have an inbuilt issue against him. So I don't see, when people say that when Andre Ward says, well, we shouldn't give Canelo a pass, he hasn't got a pass. Has he not seen the reaction from a lot of people? A lot of the fans, the reaction has been very hostile towards Canelo. People call him overrated. People call him a hype job. People saying all these things. So how has Canelo got a pass? I don't know. He's got a lot of criticism, in fact. So when people say there's double standards, when Andre Ward says there's double standards from who? Is it double standards from the media? Is it double standard because the fans have definitely gone in on Canelo? There's no way, two ways about it. Canelo is getting ripped to shreds. People are making him a meme and all sorts. So is it the media? I don't know what Andre was pointing at there, but you've got to understand that Canelo Alvarez's resume is far better than Terence Crawford. Far better than Terence Crawford. Shakur's just starting off. So they're not even good comparisons. Floyd, the crazy thing is, I think Floyd got a lot of the benefits that Canelo did, really. You know, a lot of the close fights went his way with De La Hoya, Maidana, Castillo, you know. Floyd basically, for me, had a red carpet. If Floyd used to choose who he wanted to fight, he had the whole division on lock. Basically, he's, for me, in terms of how they operate, they're kind of carbon copies, really. They're kind of carbon copies. Floyd had better competition in around his weight classes. There was more legendary and Hall of Fame fighters that he was able to face. Whereas Canelo hasn't really got that, you know, because guys like Billy Joe, Callum Smith, and Caleb Plant are not on the same level of Miguel Cotto, Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, and Marquez, and these type of guys. You know, they're not on the same kind of level. So Floyd had much better competition. And obviously Floyd was undefeated. He beat everybody. But let's be brutally honest, people gave Floyd Mayweather a lot of credit at the time. I think Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest fighters of all time. You know, I don't think he's the greatest fighter of all time. I think he's one of the greatest. I think, you know, I put him in my top 5. I put Floyd in my top 5. You know, people may disagree, but I put Floyd in my top 5. I think Floyd was a genius. But the point I'm trying to make is that Floyd, what Canelo's doing now is he's doing exactly the same thing as what Floyd was doing. You know, or moving up to fight Bivol is not something what Floyd would do. Because what Andre Ward said that, well, Floyd fought a lot of guys bigger than him and like Cotto, but Cotto might be big in terms of size, but Cotto's not taller than him. Like we're talking, Canelo's fighting guys that are like 5-6 inches taller. Like Bivol was like, people say Bivol's like 6'1". They say officially 6 foot. Canelo's 5'8", 5'7.5". Even if we go off that, that's 4.5 inches difference. That's massive when the other guys are really good boxers. And the reach is probably the reach is massive as well for Bivol over Canelo. So I can't remember Floyd fighting a guy at a higher weight class, right? So at welterweight, because let's not forget, welterweight was Floyd's fourth division. Floyd started off at 130, 135, 140, 147, 154. Yeah, so Floyd started off at 130, right? Moved up to 135, 140, 147, and I think he won a title at 154. I believe the De La Hoya fight was at 154, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that when Floyd was at welterweight, there was guys like he could have fought, like Paul Williams, that a lot of people were clamoring for. You know, a lot of people were clamoring for an Amir Khan fight. You know, because they thought stylistically that fight would be difficult. And Amir Khan was pretty tall, rangy. You know, Paul Williams, another one. Margarito's another one. So Floyd never really fought, like, I'm trying to think, he never really fought guys that were much taller than him at welterweight. So Canelo fought a guy in Bivol who was a bigger guy and much taller. That would be equivalent to Floyd fighting a Demetrius Andrade or a Paul Williams back in the day. Or even an Antonio Margarito. A lot of people think Antonio Margarito would have given Floyd troubles. Not me. I think Margarito was pretty flat-footed. And I think Floyd would have outboxed him pretty easily, to be honest. Floyd loved fighters like that. I don't think he would have given Floyd any kind of issue. I don't know why people say Floyd ducked that guy. I think he would have beaten Margarito comfortably, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, look, I actually think that, you know, every fighter at the top gets criticism if they were to lose. If Floyd had lost, he would have been made a meme as well. Canelo loses, because when you get to the top, you have a lot of people that are looking for you to fall down. So a lot of people were looking for Canelo to lose a fight and fall down, and it finally happened. So it gives them an opportunity to criticize him and you know, try to put him down. But at the end of the day, right, Canelo did fight. Look, this daring to great nonsense is all rubbish, by the way. I don't believe in none of that. As soon as you sign a contract to fight somebody, right, if you lose, then I don't feel like you should be getting credit because they're getting paid a lot of money to fight, right? Daring to be great and all that. Canelo was a massive favorite going into the Bivol fight. You know, let's not make out like Canelo wasn't a huge favorite. He was a massive favorite going into that fight. And Bivol comprehensively won. But the point I'm trying to make is I don't feel we should be giving... I think we should be giving fighters the credit for taking on a challenge. And that's what a lot more fighters should do. But I don't think you should be getting credit if you lose a fight and people should be saying, oh, he dared to be great and he should be given a pass. No. Because same with Amir Khan. He went up and fought Canelo. But at the end of the day, he signed the contract and he got paid handsomely for it. And he signed the contract going in the fight thinking he was going to win. Same with Canelo. He signed the contract going into fight. He didn't think that I'm going in there with Bivol, who's much taller than me, much bigger than me. He's going in there to win. You know? So for me personally, I don't really buy into all that daring to be great, you know, sort of stuff. Like once you sign a contract and you're going in with fight somebody, that's it. You're getting paid for it. You're going in there to do your job and win the fight. But I feel like there should be more boxers. That you know, take challenges. Stop padding up their you know, padding their record. You know, it's padding their record, man. Fight fans don't want to see that. Like you could be 60-0, but fight fans won't care about you because they think that this guy's not been in any tough fights. You know, he's not giving us any memorable fights against good fighters. That's what fight fans want to see. They want to see you in memorable fights. You know, they want to see you in memorable fights. You know, and that's what you'll be remembered for: being in memorable fights, being a fighter that put it all on the line. And Canelo's given us a lot of memorable nights. Now, a lot of Canelo's fights have been pretty one-sided of late, you know. And this one was one-sided the other way. But, you know, for me, now Canelo coming back and rematching Bivol will show how great he is, because we'll have to see if he can make the adjustments, or is it just the fact that Bivol's better than him and Canelo can't adjust? Canelo hasn't got the skill set to adjust and beat someone like Bivol. You know? Maybe he just hasn't got the skill set. Maybe Bivol just got his number. And that's what's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I found Andre Ward's... Look, Andre Ward's a very intelligent guy. He's a man that's got a lot of knowledge about boxing. I found his interview at times, this interview that he gave with Fight App, like, interesting, sometimes a bit bizarre to what he was trying to aim at. But at the end of the day, for me, Canelo put it all on the line. It didn't work out. It didn't work out, and now he's got to dust himself off, get back in the gym, and look to rematch Bivol and try beat him. You know, that's what it is. Like, that's for me a legacy. That's how you prove yourself and prove how great you are. When you lose a fight, you come back and prove that you can beat somebody. Because I said this previously: if Canelo Alvarez comes back and beats Dmitry Bivol, he's even bigger than what he was prior to the Bivol fight now. Because people will say, wow, he got comprehensively outboxed and he came back from that to go and beat Dmitry Bivol, who a lot of people think Canelo can't beat now. A lot of people think that Canelo can't beat Dmitry Bivol. So imagine coming back from all of that, people writing you off, people saying you can't beat that style, and then you come back and beat him. Imagine where Canelo would go in terms of recognition amongst the boxing fans. So, in my opinion, Canelo should take the rematch and try to avenge that loss. Forget all of the daring to be great stuff, because at the end of the day, daring to be great is no good because it goes down as a loss. When you're daring to be great, you want to dare to be great and then win. That's what add to your legacy. Because people say, wow, he dared to be great. He went up there 2 weight classes, or went up a weight class and fought a much bigger man and he beat him. Wow, imagine that legacy. You don't want to, well, he dared to be great, went up there and he got beat. You know, that's not, that's not for me. Yeah, the fact that you're setting a blueprint and hopefully other fighters can take the lead in the sense they can start fighting more guys and start padding up their records. That's what I hope for. And if the biggest star in the sport, Canelo Alvarez, can do that, then maybe you'll see other fighters, you know, of much lesser stature follow suit. But all this daring to great stuff, I think we need to kind of part that to one side. You go, you sign up for a fight, you win or you lose. If you lose, you come back, you look to avenge that loss. If you're the A side, in which Canelo is in this case. But yeah, leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.